All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're looking at an artist who's doing something pretty radical in our super digital world. He's on a mission to create things that are, well, real, tangible. His name is Paul Raats, and you could say he's making anchors for the real world. And this quote, it just nails it. Art that cannot be replicated by a pixel. Think about it. We live in this age of endless scrolling, right? Images just fly by. Well, Raats is hitting the brakes on all that. He's creating physical, high-touch art, stuff with actual weight and texture and a real presence. This is art you absolutely have to experience in person. So, to really get what he does, it helps to think of him as a kind of modern alchemist. Seriously. He's a transformer. He takes these raw, sometimes gritty industrial materials and mixes them with these incredible complex ideas. And out comes something totally new. Something golden. So, what's in his toolkit? What's the secret formula? Well, this is where it gets really interesting. His ingredients are things like industrial steel, wood that's literally thousands of years old, and then he throws in artificial intelligence. How on earth do you mix those things together to create art? Let's break it down. Okay, so first things first, it all starts with the foundation, the raw materials. And right away, this is where his work takes a sharp turn from the traditional, because his choice of canvas is all about this deep, unending curiosity for different materials and textures. Yeah, forget about your typical stretched canvas. Raats goes for materials that already have a story, their own industrial weight. I mean, we're talking about diamond plate steel, the kind you'd find on a factory floor, or ancient bog oak that's been preserved for centuries, even 3D abstract wool. None of this is random. Each material is picked specifically to bring its own history into the final piece of art. Let's just take that diamond plate seal, for example. For Raats, that's not just a flat surface to stick a picture on, no way. That raised, bumpy pattern becomes a living part of the art. When you walk past one of his pieces, the light hits it from different angles, and the colors in the image literally seem to dance and shimmer. He takes this cold, static material and makes it come alive. And that really gets to the heart of what makes his work so powerful. It's this beautiful tension, this interplay of strength and grace. You've got this super rugged, tough industrial material. That's the strength. And on it, he places these delicate, often human images. That's the grace. It's that clash, that contrast that just hits you with this incredible emotional charge. And this whole philosophy isn't just about metal. Check this out. This isn't steel at all. It's a 3D tufted wool wall rug. It's the perfect example of his high-touch idea. This is art that begs to be experienced, you know? It brings warmth to a space. It even makes a room sound better by improving the acoustics. It's all about creating something that connects with us physically. Like, there's this massive piece of his in a 2-Michelin-star restaurant in Rotterdam, and it creates this amazing, tangible link between the people, the city, and the whole experience. All right, so we get the materials. But what about the images? How does an idea, something that starts as an inner vision, maybe even a digital file, become this permanent, physical thing? Well, this is where his whole life story, past, present, and future, all comes together. You know, his journey to becoming an artist was not a straight line, not at all. He actually started out as an international consultant, traveling to 52 different countries and just soaking up all these global cultures. Then, for more than 15 years, he was a top-tier professional photographer, really mastering his eye for light and composition. And that life experience, it's not just trivia. It is the fuel for everything he creates today. It's why his perspective is so unique. So his creative process really boils down to 3 key pillars. First, there's the eye. That's his 15 years of world-class photography, his massive personal library of images. Second, you got the future. This is where he partners with AI, not to replace him, but as a creative partner to explore new ideas. And pillar number 3 is the hand. And this is crucial. It's the intense, physical, manual labor of printing, assembling, and finishing every single piece by hand. And if you put his method side by side with traditional art, you really see the difference. You know, a traditional artist is usually the sole creator. Raats collaborates with AI, with his life experience. A regular image gets printed on something. Raats' images are painstakingly fused into the material. His work is often sealed forever under a thick, hand-poured epoxy lens, which gives it this incredible depth and a sense of permanence. So, you take all that, the materials, the process, the history, and what do you get? Well, the goal isn't just to make something that looks nice. The goal is to engineer what he calls the wow effect, to create these powerful statement pieces that can hold their own anywhere, but especially in these big, high-stakes corporate spaces. Yeah, for Raats, nice just doesn't cut it. It's not good enough. He says he operates in the wow league. What does that mean? It means every single artwork is engineered to do more than just be looked at. It has to be experienced. The whole point is to deliver this deep sensory punch that completely changes the feeling of the room it's in.
And you can see that wow effect right here. This is a piece called Isabella 187, and it just commands your attention, doesn't it? The incredible color, that powerful gaze, and look at the texture. It's made of brushed aluminum tiles on wood. It all comes together to create this presence. It's more than a picture. It's an event in a room. This unique approach is exactly why big tech companies are knocking on his door. He has this amazing ability to take a company's identity, their DNA, and translate it into a physical piece of art. For NXP Semiconductors, for example, he used these hexagonal bronze tiles to represent connectivity and security. But for another company, Sue Technologies, he did something, well, truly next level. 2,700. He created a portrait out of 2,700 separate brushed aluminum tiles. Now, why that exact number? 2,700. Because every single one of those tiles stands for one person in that company's network, an employee, a partner, a customer. He literally built the portrait of the company out of the people who are the company. It's a physical representation of a human network. I mean, what a perfect blend of data, identity, and art's power to create connection. Okay, so where does a modern alchemist go next? For Paul Raats, it's all about building a global legacy. But that means facing the challenge of how to scale up a process that is so incredibly hands-on. And it's pretty cool where he's based. His studio is in Eindhoven, right in the heart of the Brainport region, which is this major hub for high-tech. You've got giants like ASML there. They make the machines that make the computer chips that power the AI that Raats uses to make the art that inspires the very people who work in that tech industry. You see, it's this perfect, amazing creative loop. But of course, success brings its own set of challenges, right? With global demand growing, he has to figure out how to scale up a process that is, by its nature, intensely manual. That's going to take new partners, new investment. He needs to build a team, collaborate with top interior designers and galleries, and push into new markets like the Middle East and Africa. And the big question is, how do you do all that without losing the personal, high-touch magic that makes the work so special in the first place? I think this quote from his biography just sums it all up perfectly. The uncreated is still out there. He intends to find it. For him, the quest is never over. He's just driven by this relentless curiosity, this belief that there's always something new to be found, and he's going to be the one to find it. So that really leaves us with one final thought. In a world that is becoming more and more digital every single day, a world of pixels and screens, what's the real value of art you can actually feel? Art that has weight, that creates real-world connections, and that pushes back against the digital tide.